Reacting to vita carnis part 2, whatever it's called.
The mimic is a bipedal creature with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy.
Disgusting.
They greatly resemble humans without skin, with added exaggerated features. These features include extended finger length, longer limbs, bulging, empty eyes, and their most prominent feature, a wide, teeth-filled smile. Although it resembles a happy face, this is due to coincidence and is only how their facial structure is shaped. The maw of the mimic contains much more teeth than humans, and their teeth is comprised almost entirely of incisors, with some canine and premolars in the back. This tooth composition is ideal for biting down onto meat and swallowing chunks whole.
Yep.
A mature mimic's diet is comprised entirely of human flesh.
Or else humanity would be dead today. Bro.
Because of this, they are found solely around human-populated areas. The mimic's life cycle is made of 3 stages. In the first stage, a young mimic separates from the crawl. They closely resemble their trimming relatives, but are thin, sleek, and only have 4 appendages. In this stage, the young mimic will hunt small animals, moving on to larger and larger as they grow. Once large enough, it will begin metamorphosis into the next stage of life. Once fully transformed, it will resemble the description mentioned in the beginning. Its hunting style changes and becomes much more complicated. It now stalks and feeds only on humans. It will locate human-populated area and begin its search for an easy target. To blend in, it may use objects to conceal itself. These include clothing, mannequins, and furniture. Once a target has been found, the mimic will observe its prey and learn its routine and when it is most vulnerable. This is typically when the human is asleep at night.
Now I got the chills.
Once the prey is within position, the mimic will advance silently until it is close enough. The mimic will then execute it immediately and begin consumption. Once the mimic has had its fill, it will leave the scene, a fair distance away from the human population, and begin to digest its meal. Although, in the case that a human is awake, a mimic will use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle prey into cornering themselves. Once a human is in place, it will swiftly attack and kill the helpless target.
Oh my god. Oh, I seen this video. This is how she got in the closet. Yeah, I seen like the vita carnis thing when she was escaping from the mimic, but I didn't know there was a mimic. Bro, listen to its footsteps. It was like, dude, it was so fast. Please don't open the closet. I don't want to see what it looks like. I do not want to see what it looks like in real life. It's gonna look horrifying. Oh my god, bro, I got the chills. Wow, bro. Bro, what? That's funny, bro. I'm laughing, crying right now. Bro, it looked like that. It looked like that. It looks like an Xbot from Nico's Xbots. Bro, I thought it would look super scary.
The next stage of the mimic's life cycle has 2 potential morphs it may develop into. If a mimic has a consistent supply of food, It will develop more human-like features. It will grow skin, hair, and by the end will look nearly identical to a human being.
Oh my god.
It now can blend entirely into civilization and lure other humans more effectively.
Is that number 3?
The second type of morph happens when a mimic receives an overabundance of food. It will grow into a larger, more evolved hunter. Its proportions will increase in length, and its humanoid features will fade away. It grows a thick, dark coating of a flexible skin, which is highly durable, and increases in strength the more the elder mimic consumes.
I'd be living at the military
This
base
excludes
at
the
that point.
face, which is now coated in a pale pink skin. The mimic's teeth have also moved deeper into the mimic's throat, leaving its mouth a toothless grin. It uses the dark hue of its skin to hide seamlessly within a dark environment. Its skills have also been heightened. This makes an elder mimic one of the most efficient predators on the planet.
Oh my god. What's
Because
next?
of the obvious threat this poses on humanity, nations around the world have released instructions on how to be able to fend for yourself in a mimic encounter. Here are the instructions.
1. Avoid going out alone if your location is known to have mimics, or there have been mimic sightings. 2. If you encounter a stationary mimic, seemingly unfazed by your presence, quietly leave the location and alert your local authorities. 3. If pursued by a mimic, get yourself into a position where you are able to flee. Mimics will rarely attack if a person has a clear escape route. 4. In the event that you have been cornered by a mimic, roll into the fetal position, protecting your neck, face, and vital organs from attack. Make as much noise as you can to alert any other people. 5. If you have a weapon, do not use it. A mimic is fairly resilient, and any strikes or shots on a mimic is not effective enough to bring it down in time. Instead, use it as a barrier between you and the mimic to block any attacks. 6. In a situation where a mimic is hunting in the immediate area and is not aware of your position, hide somewhere low, like under a bed or behind other furniture. A mimic will not linger too long to search for prey, and will move on.
Be safe, and avoid any encounters with a mimic at all costs.
Whoa. Can I just use a flamethrower?
Next up, the harvester.
Wait, what? Oh! I can hear it slurping the blood of the woman. Oh my god. That's disgusting. Okay. That was horrifically horrifying.
The harvester.
That doesn't look scary.
The harvester is a large, bulbous mass with a large amount of tendrils spreading from the base.
It's easy to look scary.
The bulb measures around 3 meters in height and 2 meters in diameter. The tendrils, on the other hand, can extend up to 150 meters in diameter horizontally. The harvester is a specialized form of crawl that grows in a unique and deadly way. A harvester is created when a node that will grow into a harvester, instead of separating, continues to grow. Eventually, it will grow tendrils of its own. It uses the energy provided by its mother branch and expands its reach further. Its tendrils, hidden just below the surface of the ground.
If I actually see this in real life and see a ball,
The harvester is equipped with 2 types of specialized tendrils. The first type is bulky and flat. They lie the closest to the surface. These branches are lined on each length of the tendril with spines, extending in the shape of a bear trap. On each side of the branch, those particular spines have a vein that feed into them, that pump 2 types of venom. On one side, the spines can inject a neurotoxin, which will attack the nervous system of whomever it is injected into, causing sudden paralysis. The other side can inject an anticoagulant, which when injected, prevents blood cells from clotting. Whenever a large animal moves across the area armed with these tendrils, the branches will clamp onto the animal and thrash violently.
Oh my god.
Once the prey has been injected with both venoms, the tendrils will rest and the prey will immediately collapse. The animal will be unable to move due to the paralysis, and the wounds caused by the thrashing spines will not stop bleeding. All the prey can do is lie patiently, until succumbing to blood loss. Once the prey has bled out, the second type of tendrils come in. They lie below the spine equipped once. These branches are thick, but very sturdy. They share similar anatomy to the small branches of the crawl, equipped with organelle that absorbs nutrients. These tendrils sense the blood, and move their way to the surface and begin to absorb the vital fluid. Once the blood has been consumed, the tendrils will wrap around the body and begin to shuffle downwards. This movement loosens the soil and slowly pull the body underground. Once secure, the tendrils will continue to feed until there is nothing but scraps. The nourishment absorbed by the tendrils will be sucked back into the main bulb of the harvester.
What is it gonna do with the bones?
This bulb houses all the vital organs and the venom glands that pump into the spines. The nutrients are then converted into usable energy. The remains underground decompose, providing a rich soil, causing very prominent plant growth, which then attracts more animals. A strange behavior the harvester displays is its choice of diet. The spines will only activate on larger animals, allowing smaller ones to pass by unaffected. The spines will also not activate on some species of bird. There are a couple theories as to why this happens. One, it could be that attacking smaller animals would cost too much energy for what they get in return, making it not worth the time. Another could be that smaller animals may attract larger animals or predators, allowing a safe place where prey may thrive and lure more predators. It truly is astonishing.
If you can
Although
hear
it
me,
is a
I'll ask
spectacular
that, please don't
creature,
kill me.
it is also very dangerous. The harvester is decently rare, only populating sparse areas in the northern hemisphere and
Oh
woodland
my god.
forests. If you are stung by a harvester, there will be no way of helping you, being that there is no cure, and fatality is 100% possible. The best thing you can do is avoid encountering a harvester in the first place. If you are hiking, take note of any warnings or signs saying that there are harvesters around. If you also notice an abundance of lush, ground-dwelling plants in a forested area, and there are no signs of wildlife, this is suspicious and you should leave the area, staying close to the base of large trees or
There's no
rocks.
wildlife at my house.
If you find yourself in the middle of a harvester ground, do not panic. Sudden movements may activate the tendrils and will inject you. Although a harvester is rather forgiving, do not risk any skittish movements. Remain calm. If you have any objects with considerable heft, like coats, backpacks, or full water bottles, gently take that object and lightly toss it towards the bulb, and away from your escape route. This will activate the spines on where the object lands, distracting the bulb for a moment. You will then slowly begin to do wide shuffles away from the bulb. If possible, throw another object when you are certain you are a fair enough distance away, just to be safe. Continue until you are completely sure you are out of harm's way. You may come out unscathed, but don't be too obnoxious, or you will be a harvester's next meal.
Oh my god.
Next up is the host.
The host? Are we almost done with this series?
The host of influence. The host of influence, more commonly referred to as the host, has its name derived from a host who invites guests to an event. Not to be confused with a host, a harborer of parasites or disease. The host is a semi-humanoid-looking organism. It has the structure of a head, torso, and arms. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics. The lower half of the host is comprised of a massive fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of skin, the host is covered in muscular tissue fibers, tendons, and veins.
Bruh.
In some parts of the body are covered in a meaty plate, used to cover any large
Please tell me
exposed
this is
areas,
real.
but allowing movement.
Please tell me this is rare.
The host's head has a smooth surface where the face should be, attached to a crooked neck. which
Is it
houses
blind?
a slit in the front used for feeding. On the host's back is a mound of pores. Protruding from these pores are hollow, hair-like structures, extending outwards. These hairs are barrels that release spores produced within
need to
host's
kill
body
these at
by
all
being
costs,
fired
man.
into the air. These spores are hazardous, so keep clear of them at all costs.
What this?
Luckily, the host is rare, only found in North America. Obtaining info about the host is a very risky and daunting task. This is because of their rarity and of how dangerous it is to be up close to one.
In Indiana, bro.
The source released by a host is very dangerous when inhaled. A host will release a cloud of spores into the air, which will be picked up by wind and carried great distances. If an organism inhales the spores, the particles will find their way into the organism's brain and infect them. An infected organism will show no symptoms of infection right away, but a couple hours after infection, the infected organism's behavior and thought process will change. The first symptoms that appear are restlessness, sluggish movement, numbness of joints, and lack of coordination. Then more serious symptoms appear over time. These include dizziness, migraines, impaired speech, and trembles. If you or someone you know show these symptoms, contact poison control or emergency services. After a total of 6 to 7 hours after infection, the organism will cease all activities they were previously doing and begin to walk. The direction the infected will walk is towards the host whose spores have been inhaled by the infected individual.
Yep, we're definitely
If
lucky
the
that
infected
this
makes their way to the host, they will kneel down in front of it, expose their vital organs, and the host will promptly gut and remove those organs. The host will consume them and discard the leftover scraps. However, if an infected organism doesn't reach the host within a 36-hour span or is treated for their infection, the effects will wear off and return back to normal. If the host is unable to find prey or doesn't like its current location, it will unroot itself and move to a new location.
Oh wow,
Their scarce numbers and the
What's
hazard
that
of being
apple?
around
Oh my.
one makes getting info about the host very daunting. All you need to currently know is that the host is extremely dangerous and should be avoided at all costs.
Yep.
Next, the
I'm gonna be
monoliths.
pranking some people. I'm gonna prank some people by making. I already forgot what it was called. The harvest or something.
The monoliths.
Wait, let me pause
The mono-
this. So it was called the harvest, right? Yeah, the harvester. I'm gonna make a fake sign and then put it somewhere in the woods and see how some kids react. They're probably gonna scream like, "Oh my God, it's real!"
It is a very new creature, only showing up in June of 1972 in the area.
1972.
There are only 7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position, 1.5 kilometers in diameter.
Okay.
This ring of monoliths surrounds.
Bro, that's loud. I'm on full volume.
The monolith is a Titanic-sized being, measuring roughly 120 meters in height. Each monolith has 2 trunk legs that are firmly embedded underground. The legs connect to a torso. The creature itself is made of hundreds of thousands of meaty strands, tightly woven together to form the structure. These strands end at the neck, fusing into a solid mass of hardened flesh in the shape of an upside-down triangle, with a hole in its center. On each side of the monolith where arms would be, there are dozens of long, rope-like appendages. These reach just barely to the ground. At the creature's feet, the strands go deep into the earth and extend horizontally a decent distance away. What the monoliths do is simply stand and do nothing. The only activity documented that the monoliths have done was in. During this period, they were extremely aggressive. When the group of were making their way to the city, the monolith that they had passes roared a deep bellow and swung its appendages at the team, completely wiping them out. When military vehicles were dispatched, once they got close enough to top the monolith, it roared another call, this time releasing an EMP blast, completely knocking the vehicles out in the vicinity. Finally, long-distance rockets were fired and struck the creature.
Please tell me it killed it.
Undamaged, it regenerated at great speed and resumed its stance unscathed.
Yep,
eventually, the area has been fenced off and is now restricted to all.
It's pretty much dead.
Ever since, the monolith stands silently, now only a grand spectacle of awe and mystery, only adding more questions to these meat beings. And finally, the last creature on this list is marvelous and majestic world that exists today. It's as extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
I gotta find out what this last creature is. Gotta find out. I guess that'll be it for today. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, wait a minute. No, never mind. We're gonna be, we're gonna watch this. Mimic defense instructional. Why is it still an emergency alert? Is it paused or something? Oh, what is wrong with this? Let's see this. I guess that will be it for today. Okay, bye. Have a good day. Beep beep butthole, beep beep butthole.